CJ Kaltenbach here of FantasyCruncher.com with your Week 14 wide receivers DraftKings video. Here on our YouTube page, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and then the comments section. As you go through the video, we talk about a bunch of different options. Think about who you think is going to be that highest scoring wide receiver. Leave it in the comments section along with your Fantasy Cruncher username, and you'll be entered in a drawing for a chance to win a free week of Fantasy Cruncher Pro. All you got to do is leave your username in that comments section. I'll announce it next week on the quarterback video, and it'll be on your account. So just, again, leave your username and leave the wide receiver you think will score the most DraftKings points. Hit that like and subscribe button. Let's get right to wide receivers. This is actually one of the more dynamic options of wide receiver. Again, as I kind of mentioned this in the quarterback video, but in case you haven't watched it, we don't have a ton of weather games this week. We've got a lot of games actually all the games are between 40.5 and 48. So there's a lot more viable wide receivers than we've had in a while. And some of the pricing is wild. You know, like obviously our Tampa wide receivers are near the top. I'm not all the way scrolled up. You know, Michael Thomas, Tyreek Hill against New England. I don't know if I could pay $8,100 for Tyreek Hill in that matchup, even if I think Kansas City can't score. You know, Devontae Adams is $8K. That's tough for me. But, I mean, Julio Jones against Carolina. DeAndre Hopkins against Denver's secondary. Godwin and Evans are at their lowest prices in a while in a good matchup. DJ Moore draws Atlanta, who's been fantastic in the last month, but before that was terrible, and DJ Moore has just been getting more and more targets. Now, it'll be interesting to see, obviously, the Panthers fired their coach today, so we definitely have to keep an eye out on, you know, there's definitely systematic changes, but why would you change DJ Moore? He's been fantastic. Been getting a ton of targets, 9 or more in each of the last 7 games, and 10 or more in 5 of those. Like, the guy's just getting a ton of targets, ton of yardage, and picking up those touchdowns, which is just super huge. So even at 7K, I think I like him here if you're not playing Christian McCaffrey. I think he's a very good option. Devontae Parker, man, we've been riding him all the way up, and now he is with the big boys. 6,900 for him. And draws a great matchup against that Jets secondary, too. I'm not ready to rule him out. He's not like a top play like he's been the last few weeks for me, but it's hard to ignore him. He's been fantastic. The targets have been there ever since Preston Williams went down. He's been taking advantage of it. It's not like he's talented. He was a first-round pick. You know, just taking a little while to bloom. Doesn't look like T.Y. Hilton's going to play, so I can't get all excited about it. But if he does, I love the matchup. Ridley against that Carolina secondary is a great option, especially even if Julio's out. Galladay against Minnesota. We haven't had a Kenny Galladay absolute, monster week in a while. I know he did okay last week, but we haven't had the 8 catch for 202 game. This is a pretty good spot for one against Xavier Rhodes, who in the past was a top corner this year. I think I saw a stat on Twitter. These 84% of passes attempted against him have been completed. Something insane. I'm going to steal a joke too. When Xavier Rhodes was going to the medical tent for a little ankle issue, someone popped it up, and I saw this on Twitter. It's not an original joke. I just want this to be clear. But guy goes to his buddy, they should name the tent after Rhodes. And his other buddy goes, nah, the tent actually covers people. I don't know why I found that so funny. I did. So hopefully maybe you found that funny as well. But I love Kenny Galladay in this spot against Xavier Rhodes. Really should be a great spot for him. Keenan Allen. We talked about Keenan Allen last week being in a sneaky spot. Put up 6 for 68 and 1 in a tough game. This matchup's way better. I think Keenan Allen's healthy. I watched that game. I think he looks pretty good. He's a guy that I'm definitely going to be targeting in some tournament teams. Since week 4, Jarvis Landry has scored the 4th most fantasy points across all receivers. Not just across all receivers. Now, every team had the bye in there and whatnot, but still, he's been incredible in PPR scoring. And again, with this target load and this matchup, I'm not going to just ignore him again. He's more expensive than Odell Beckham, and bluntly, that's probably the right pricing. Juju Smith-Schuster, if he can go, I think Arizona is a great matchup. We saw against Jared Goff how passing attempts can get hot there. Will Fuller and Zach Pascal, I think, are fantastic mid-tier options. Will Fuller, of course, just coming off that expected New England dud. Draws a much better matchup against Denver on the outside. Can definitely throw the ball deep against them. Zach Pascal, of course, no T.Y. Hilton. He picked up 10 targets. Didn't score a touchdown. A lot of Jack Doyle. We'll talk about him in the tight end video. But 7 for 109. Think we can really expect him to be in that 7 to 11 target range moving forward. Draws the Tampa defense. And we've talked about it. Like, everyone scores touchdowns. D.D. Westbrook had a good week despite having Nick Foles get benched at halftime for being bad. That's just how good this matchup is. You don't even need a full game. A half is all you need sometimes. I think he's a good option. Jamison Crowder didn't really do anything last week. 2 bad weeks in a row, but 9 targets, right? 9 targets. I think that this is a nice bounce back spot here against that Miami secondary that can give up a ton of points. Really, all the Jets receivers are cheap. Robbie Anderson and Jamison Crowder, and Demaryius Thomas is still free as well. Tyrell Williams, look, that Raiders offense just never had a chance in Kansas City last week. Much better situation at home against the Titans this week. 5,000 for a guy who's got this type of dynamic deep threat in good weather. Titans dead last against the pass the last month. I think he's a fantastic value play. I think a lot of these guys are good. I'd really try to think about playing a bunch of these 7K and under guys, because that helps you pay up at running back. And there are a couple really good studs we talked about in the running back video. So I think as I'm kind of exploring the player pool here, I think it's a pretty good week to pay up at running back and take some shots on this 5K range. Super strong, super talented, super good matchups as well across the board here. Christian Kirk, boy, I loved him last week in Arizona. Just was bad. He was at 0 until like midway through the 4th. It was just a bad pick. It just did not work at all. Decent rebound spot here against Pittsburgh at home, but Kyler didn't look right with that ankle. It's tough to trust, but I think he's got some upside. Honestly, other than that, it's pretty tough. Julian Edelman's a great option here. I shouldn't have skipped him over at 7,100 against the Chiefs. I mean, it's the only guy right now Tom Brady trusts, other than Jacoby Myers, who I actually wanted to pull up. Where is Jacoby Myers? What's he priced at? I'm really curious at his price. I don't think he's on this page. If he's on this page, that's a fantastic value. Yeah, Jacoby Myers, 3,500. Picked up 7 targets after picking up 9 targets the week before against Dallas. Right now, it's basically Edelman and Jacoby Myers in the Tom Brady circle of trust. He definitely dropped the ball, but again, what are the other options the Patriots have? 3,500 is a steal for him. I wouldn't get crazy on him. It's definitely boom or bust still. Kind of also like Kenny Stills, by the way, who I think's got some nice boom or bust at this price range. But I think he's going to be on the field a ton. I think he's going to play a ton of snaps. And again, Tom Brady's throwing the ball 47 times. Someone has to catch it. So I think this is definitely a very good spot to consider a punt in Jacoby Myers. No, again, probably a tournament play. For sure, definitely can put up 0. But I think there's a really big ceiling here. So as we kind of close in on the video, there's a ton of great options this week. I kind of mentioned that at the top. It's going to be really tough to narrow these options down. For me right now, the top 5 I'm considering, and this definitely can change across the week. There's definitely, a cornerback goes down, or an offensive lineman goes down. These guys are all super close. So this definitely, more than others, is definitely a week where things can change. And check out the FantasyCruncher Discord channel. I'm in there all the time talking. I've got a midnight show on Saturday nights. So if you want more up-to-date information, we've got it for you over at FantasyCruncher.com. Check it out. But right now, for me, it's, DeAndre Hopkins, probably number 1 against Denver. No, Kenny Galladay number 1, DeAndre Hopkins number 2, Jacoby Myers number 3. Just, again, that's going to be limited sample, but I really do like the upside for him. Zach Pascal number 4, and Jamison Crowder number 5. But there are a ton of elite receivers that I love. You can play Adams, you can play Diggs, Godwin, and Evans. I'm not going to start fading them now. Julian Edelman. There's just so many elite receivers. So it's going to be tough to pick. So, you're going to have to take stands. Looking at ownership as the week goes on definitely can be a factor. I think a lot of these guys are similar. So if one guy's going to be 15%, another's going to be 1.5%. If I have them graded about the same, going to play that lower owned player. So again, check us out at FantasyCruncher.com. Please subscribe, like, and again, leave your FantasyCruncher username in the comments section with the wide receiver you think scores the most fantasy points. Get yourself a chance to win a FantasyCruncher Pro weekly subscription. We'll announce that in the quarterback video next week. And with that, good luck this week.